Lonely alien milkmaid wanted strong hands, never imagined she'd end up begging for more. The impact shredded Kale's comm unit, then his teeth against his tongue. His small scout ship, the asterisk Drifter's Kiss, was now just a crumpled, smoking husk embedded in the black, jagged rock. He tasted blood and ozone. "Fuck me," he groaned, pushing himself up, ribs screaming in protest. Outside, the world was a swirling vortex of ash and shimmering heat, lit by the angry orange glow of lava flows twisting through colossal mineral spires. A ringed moon, the data said. Rhea core. Home to the Bloodstone clan. Dangerous. He scanned the horizon, pulling his mangled blaster from its holster. The air hummed with a low, primal thrum, a sound that vibrated deep in his bones, making his teeth ache. No signs of life. Just endless, brutal beauty. He needed to find shelter, patch himself up, and figure out how to get off this godforsaken rock. He staggered forward, each step a battle against his battered body, the air thick with mineral dust that rasped in his throat. His comms were dead, his transponder offline. He was truly alone. He thought he was. A shadow detached itself from the towering spires, moving with impossible grace. It was tall, impossibly lean, with a predatory stillness that sent a shiver down his spine colder than the crash itself. Bioluminescent tattoos pulsed faintly along her bare arms, shifting with an inner light, illuminating sharp, deliberate movements. Her eyes, two slits of burning emerald, fixed on him. Another star-spawned worm, a voice rumbled, deep and resonant, vibrating with the same thrum he'd felt in the air. It was a woman, unmistakably, but alien. Her features were sharp, chiseled, framed by dark, braided hair that seemed to absorb the light. She wore only what looked like hardened hide, leaving very little to the imagination. He noticed the thick, scarred ropes around her wrists, the slight hum from her throat nodes as she spoke. She moved closer, every step unhurried, confident. He raised his blaster despite the tremor in his hand. "Easy there, sunshine," Kale rasped, spitting blood. "No need to get hostile, just a little navigational hiccup." She stopped a few feet away, her gaze raking over his form, assessing. Hiccup? Her lips, full and dark, curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. "You fall from the sky, break the sacred ground, and call it a hiccup? You reek of desperation, human, and fear." He scoffed, a genuine, mirthless sound. "Fear? Lady, I've seen things that would make your tentacles curl. This is just a bad Tuesday." Her eyes narrowed, the emerald glow intensifying. "No tentacles. You are a fool if you think you can mock me, male." She took another step, closing the distance, and the humming from her throat grew louder, a deep purr that seemed to resonate with the very ground. He felt a weird pressure in his head, a warmth. She wasn't just observing him, she was feeling him. He hated that. He hated it more than the pain in his ribs. He tightened his grip on the blaster. "All right, let's keep it civil. I'm Kyle. What's your deal?" She tilted her head, a slow, deliberate movement. "I am Xylera, and my deal, human, is you. You have intruded. You will be purified, or you will be claimed." His brow furrowed. Claimed? He'd heard that word before, in the dark corners of border world cantinas. It rarely meant anything good, and purified usually involved fire or flaying. He didn't like either option. "Look, Xylera," he tried, forcing a diplomatic tone he rarely used. "No offense, but I'm not really looking to be anyone's property. I just want to fix my ship and get out of your hair. Or whatever that is." He gestured vaguely at her head, the intricate braids. She didn't flinch. Her hand, surprisingly delicate despite the power it implied, darted out, closing around his blaster. Not pulling it from him, but simply holding it in place, her fingers warm against his. He felt the hum intensify, directly through his hand now. "Your hair, human, is the least of your concerns. This is my territory, my quarry, my domain." Her voice was a low growl, more animal than human, yet utterly compelling. He felt a weird pull, a primal sense of something ancient and powerful staring him down. Your quarry? What am I? Some kind of rare space deer. He tried to tug his blaster free, but her grip was iron. Her gaze dropped to his crotch for a fraction of a second, then snapped back up to his eyes, a flicker of something unreadable in her emerald depths. Perhaps, or perhaps, human, you are something far more valuable. Something the elders will be very interested in, especially if you are unbroken. She pulled his blaster gently, then with a surprising strength, ripped it from his grasp. It felt like she had just taken part of his arm with it. He cursed under his breath. Unbroken? What the hell does that even mean? She spun the blaster in her hand, testing its weight, then clipped it to her own hip with a dismissive clatter. It means, human, that you have much to learn about the ways of Ryakor. And I am the one to teach you. He felt a flush of anger, hot and sharp. The hell you are. I don't need a lesson from some glowing tattooed space Amazon. She stepped forward, her scent, a mix of ozone, hot rock, and something musky and intoxicating, filling his senses. He instinctively leaned back, but she closed the distance, her body language radiating pure, untamed power. Space Amazon? Is that what you call those who command the milk beasts? Her eyes seemed to glitter with amusement. Yes, I am of the Milkmaid caste, and I assure you, my hands are strong enough to claim you. She reached out, her fingers, still warm, brushing against his jaw, tracing the line of his stubble. The humming from her throat nodes intensified, vibrating against his skin. A shiver, not entirely from fear, ran through him. Milkmaid? You mean like cows? You milk cows? Kale gaped, completely thrown by the term. He braced for another witty retort, but she just stared at him, her expression unreadable. Then she laughed, a low, throaty sound that echoed off the spires. Cows? No human. Far greater. We milk the hearth. Beasts. Their essence sustains our people. And their temperaments are challenging. Much like yours, it seems. She stepped back, a predatory gleam in her eyes. Come, the lava sleeps for now, but the night on Ryakor brings creatures far less forgiving than I. You will come with me to the ritual caves, or you will face the maw worms. Your choice. He looked around, the alien landscape stark and terrifying. The maw worms? Sounded unpleasant. He was a survivor, not a fool. All right, ritual caves. Lead the way, Xylara. Just try not to claim me before breakfast, okay? He watched her turn, her lithe form moving effortlessly over the rough terrain. Her voice, when she spoke, was laced with amusement. Breakfast, human? You have much to learn of our customs. The claiming often is breakfast, or dinner, or the entire cycle of the twin suns. He trailed behind her, a grimace on his face. This was going to be a long, strange captivity. His ribs screamed, his head throbbed, and the strange hum in the air pressed against him. He found himself studying her form as she moved, the play of the bioluminescent tattoos over her taut muscles. He was a jaded bounty hunter. He'd seen it all, but Xylara was something else entirely. A walking, talking, glowing threat. She led him down a winding path that descended into the earth, the orange glow of the surface fading, replaced by a softer, pulsing light from deep within the rock itself. It was almost ethereal, like walking through the veins of a living creature. The air grew warmer, humid, thick with the scent of minerals and something else, something primal and animalistic. He realized with a jolt that the pervasive humming sound was getting louder. What the hell is that noise? He muttered, looking around. Xylara paused, turning her head slightly. The hearth beasts. They resonate with the lunar cycle. Their power pulses through the stone. He saw it then. Massive, cavernous spaces opening up, revealing vast, dark pens carved directly into the rock. And within them, hulking shapes moved, their skin shimmering with an inner light, just like Xylara's tattoos. These were the cows she talked about. They were terrifying, each easily weighing 10 tons, with multiple limbs and glowing proboscises. Those are your milk cows? His voice was flat with disbelief. They look like they could eat a tank. She chuckled, a low, confident sound. They are. Temperamental, but their essence is pure, and their bodies hold a power unmatched. Only the milkmaids can soothe them. Her gaze drifted to him, lingering. Or tame those who would disturb them. The implication was clear. She was comparing him to her monstrous livestock. He scoffed, crossing his arms, wincing at the pull on his bruised muscles. Glad to know I'm in such esteemed company. Next, you'll be putting a collar on me. Her eyes gleamed. Perhaps, if you prove too spirited. But a human male's spirit can be a valuable thing, Kale, if channeled correctly. They reached a smaller chamber, less intimidating than the beast pens. It was still carved from the glowing stone, with a rough raised platform in the center. The air here was even warmer, almost stifling. This is where you'll stay, Xylera stated, gesturing to a small alcove in the wall. No door, no restraints, just an implicit command. He raised an eyebrow. No cage? You're trusting me not to bolt? She gave him a look that was pure disdain. Bolt? Where would you go, human? This moon is deadly. Your ship is scrap. Your options are limited. Besides, she stepped closer, invading his personal space, her scent overpowering. You are claimed. To flee would be to dishonor me. A dishonor I would exact a terrible price for. She ran a finger lightly down his arm, a spark of pure energy seeming to follow its path, making his skin prickle. A very personal price. He suppressed a shiver, his heart hammering in his chest. Her confidence was absolute. And honestly, it was kind of hot. Right. So, I'm your pet project then? He asked, attempting to sound bored, but his voice was a little rougher than he intended. Is this some kind of ritual for you? Finding stray males and claiming them? Her gaze dropped to his mouth, then lingered on his neck, where a small pulse beat at the base of his throat. It is a test. For me. And for you. The elders watch. They determine worth. She tapped a finger lightly on his chest, right over his heart. Can you endure, human? Can you surrender to the will of a true dominant? He snorted. Lady, I don't surrender to anyone. And I've definitely never taken orders from a space milkmaid. My idea of a good time usually involves a bottle of synth ale and not being trapped in a glowing rock cave with a woman who looks like she could snap me in half. Her lips twitched. Synth ale? Is that your version of hearth essence? A weak substitute, I imagine. As for snapping you in half, Kale, that might prove to be only a preamble to something far more engaging. She turned and walked to the entrance of the chamber, her lithe movements captivating. Rest, human. The rituals begin at the next sun cycle. You will need your strength. The hum from the hearth beasts outside seemed to resonate with a new meaning now, a strange, expectant thrum. He watched her go, a strange mix of annoyance and curiosity stirring within him. He was captured, sure, but he wasn't afraid. Not really. Just intrigued. What the hell was she planning? And what exactly did claiming truly entail for a milkmaid empress like Xylera? He settled into the alcove, the smooth, warm stone conforming to his battered body. He closed his eyes, but sleep didn't come easily. Her words echoed in his mind, and the phantom sensation of her fingers on his skin lingered. He was tired, hurt, and probably screwed, but a spark of defiance, and something else, something he refused to name, kept him awake. He kept hearing that low, confident chuckle, and the hum of the beasts. He was no pet. He'd show her. The next sun cycle brought not a sun, but a shifting of the moon's position, bathing the interior caves in a pulsing, stronger glow. Xylera returned, her bioluminescent tattoos now blazing with a fierce intensity, the patterns shifting and swirling across her skin like living flame. She carried a small, ornate flask. Awake, human? Her voice was softer this time, less commanding, more curious. You slept little. The hum of the hearth beasts disturbs you? Kale pushed himself up, rubbing his eyes. More like the thought of being ritually claimed disturbs me. What's in the flask? Space nectar? She smiled, a genuine, unsettling display of sharp, alien teeth. Hearth essence, the pure strain. It will prepare your body for the trials. She offered it to him. It smelled sweet, musky, and faintly metallic. He eyed it with suspicion. Prepare my body? For what exactly? A staring contest? Because I'm terrible at those. She rolled her eyes, a very human gesture that somehow made her even more alien. The trials of worth, human. To prove your strength, your endurance, your suitability. She paused, then added, the elders demand proof of your capacity for bonding. A proper union must be forged through challenge, not mere convenience. Kale scoffed, but took the flask. Bonding? Lady, I'm a bounty hunter. My bonds are with my synth ale and my credit chips. And what's this about elders? I thought you were the boss around here. Her eyes narrowed slightly, a fleeting moment of something akin to annoyance. The elders oversee all rituals, even for a milkmaid of my standing. She didn't elaborate on her standing. Drink. It will enhance your senses, your stamina. He took a cautious sip. The liquid was warm, thick, and surprisingly palatable. It tasted like concentrated energy, with a hint of something primal. As he swallowed, a warmth spread through his veins, a tingling sensation that made his skin feel alive. He felt his aches recede, his mind sharpen. Whoa, he breathed. A genuine surprise. What the hell is this stuff? It's like rocket fuel. Zilara watched him, a hint of satisfaction on her face. It is the gift of the hearth. It will allow you to perceive, to truly feel the ritual. She moved away, gesturing for him to follow. The first trial is the labyrinth of whispers. You will navigate it, unarmed. Rely only on your instincts. And the bond? What bond? Kale started, but she was already moving, her glowing form disappearing around a bend. Hey, what bond? He scrambled after her, the hearth essence buzzing in his blood. The labyrinth was a series of narrow, winding passages, lit only by patches of phosphorescent moss. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and something metallic. The humming of the hearth beasts was distant here, replaced by a new sound, whispers, soft, insidious voices, speaking in a language he didn't understand, but their tone was clearly malevolent, mocking. What are these voices? He hissed, pressing a hand to his temple. Zilara waited for him at an intersection, her face unreadable. The ancestral spirits, they test your resolve. Do not listen to their taunts. Focus on the flow of energy. The path revealed by my bond. He felt a strange pull then, a subtle warmth in his chest, drawing him in a specific direction. He chose that path, ignoring the insistent whispers that seemed to claw at his sanity. The path led him deeper, twisting and turning, the whispers growing louder, more distinct. He saw shadows flickering at the edge of his vision, forms that seemed to shift and writhe. His heart hammered, but the hearth essence kept him focused, strangely calm amidst the chaos. He kept following the warmth, the invisible thread that seemed to link him to Zilara. He navigated a few more turns, the air growing colder, heavier. Then he heard it. A different sound. A low, guttural snarl, echoing from the passages ahead. What was that? Kale tensed, his hands clenching into fists. Zilara stepped out of the shadows, her expression grim. The next part of the trial. The mawhounds. They are blind, but they hunt by scent and by fear. Show no fear, human, and keep close. Before he could react, a monstrous, multi-limbed creature, all snapping teeth and chitinous plates, burst from a side passage. It was huge, easily twice his size, and moved with a terrifying speed. Its eyeless head whipped around, sniffing the air, its guttural snarl rattling the stone walls. Shit! Kale yelled, scrambling back. Zilara moved like lightning, interposing herself between him and the beast. Her glowing tattoos pulsed violently, and a low guttural roar, eerily similar to the hearth beast's, erupted from her throat. It was a challenge, a declaration of dominance. The mawhound recoiled, momentarily stunned by her display. "It hunts fear," Gylera hissed, her voice tight. "You emit it." "I'm not emitting fear, I'm emitting common sense," Kale retorted, grabbing her arm, pulling her back. "That thing's going to turn us into paste." She didn't budge. "Number. It will not. It is my trial, my quarry." She pushed him back, her body language radiating fierce resolve. "Stay behind me, and hold still." The mawhound lunged again, a blur of teeth and claws. Xylera met it head-on. She wasn't fighting it with weapons, she was fighting it with pure, raw dominance. Her body moved in a fluid dance, dodging its strikes. Then suddenly, she grabbed one of its thick, armored limbs, twisting. The beast roared, a sound of pain, not aggression. Kale watched, stunned, as she wrestled with the creature, her strength seemingly impossible. Her tattoos flared, casting a blinding light as she forced the mawhound to its knees. She was channeling something, some primal energy, into the fight. He felt the echo of it through the invisible bond she claimed to have. It was overwhelming, a tidal wave of sheer, brutal power. He realized he wasn't just watching, he was feeling a sliver of her rage, her control, her dominance. This is her trial, Kale thought, his mind reeling. She wasn't just protecting him, she was demonstrating something to him, and to the elders she kept mentioning. A test of her own. She was challenging not just the beast, but him. He saw a flicker of triumph in her eyes as she finally subdued the mawhound, forcing its snout to the ground with a powerful knee, its massive body trembling. The creature whimpered, a sound of submission. "It acknowledges the dominant," Xylera stated, her chest heaving, the glow of her tattoos slowly receding. "Are you next, human?" Kale stared at the subdued beast, then at Xylera, who stood over it, her body shimmering with power. "Jesus, you're insane," he breathed. "You just wrestled a goddamn monster into submission." "For a trial?" She arched an eyebrow, a hint of defiance in her eyes. "It is the way. To prove worth, to prove ability to claim. Does your species not understand such things?" "Our species has tasers," he muttered, then shook his head. "Look, you're impressive, okay? Really impressive. But I'm not a mawhound. And I'm not here to be claimed like some wild animal. I'm a man." Her gaze dropped to his groin, then back up to his eyes. A strange mix of amusement and challenge. "Indeed, human. And you appear to be quite a male. A powerful male, if the hearth essence speaks truth. But are you truly unbroken? Or merely unbent?" She stepped away from the subdued beast, which lay whimpering, and approached him. The air thrummed with a new intensity. The trial of worth continues. The next chamber, for us. He felt a jolt of something he couldn't quite place. Not just fear, not just curiosity. It was primal, deeply unsettling, and undeniably enticing. He was being tested, and not just for his survival. She was looking for something more. "Lead the way then, Milkmaid," Kale said, his voice laced with forced bravado. "Let's see what else your freaky rituals have in store." He followed her, muscles tensed, heart racing. He knew, with a sudden dawning realization, that this wasn't just about escaping anymore. It was about proving something. To her, to himself. And he definitely wasn't going to surrender. Not yet. The next chamber was vast, circular, and centered around a shimmering pool of liquid light, the source of the persistent hum. The walls were lined with what looked like ancient, pulsating glyphs, casting long dancing shadows. In the center of the pool, a pedestal rose, and atop it sat a single crystalline orb, throbbing with an internal light. "The heart of Riakor," Xylera stated, her voice reverent. "The source of our power, the conduit for the deepest bonds." She turned to him, her glowing tattoos seeming to pulse in sync with the orb. "This is the final trial, human. The trial of resonance. You will enter the pool. You will touch the heart, and you will allow the bond complete itself. Kale eyed the glowing liquid with suspicion. Enter the pool? What is this? A glorified bath? What bond? The one where you claim me like a pet hearth beast? He scoffed, but felt a strange pull towards the shimmering light. You keep talking about the bond like it's a leash. Her lips thinned, a flash of something unreadable in her eyes. A leash? Number A. Joining? The hearth essence you consumed has prepared your internal resonance. It has woven the first thread between us. This pool will complete the weave. She gestured to the glowing orb. The heart will ensure its permanence. The elders will witness it. He felt a tremor. Permanence. He didn't do permanent. He was a wanderer, a lone wolf. Permanence? No, no, no. Hold on. This wasn't in the job description. I crash-landed. You captured me. I agreed to trials. Not some alien marriage ceremony. Xylera's shoulders stiffened. Marriage? Is that what your species calls the sacred bonding? This is not a choice, Kale. It is a necessity. My position, my standing amongst the Milkmaid caste, demands a mate of strength. Unbroken. And you are here. The will of Riakor has manifested. Her voice dropped, a low, intense growl. And the elders will not be denied. Failure to complete this trial means you will be harvested. For your essence, to feed the hearth. His blood ran cold. Harvested? You mean you'll kill me and turn me into food for your glowing cows? He roared, outrage momentarily overriding his fear. She didn't flinch. It is the cycle of life. A worthy end, some would argue, but you are destined for more, human. I feel it. You are destined to be mine. Her gaze was intense, unwavering, a primal hunger in her emerald eyes. He could feel the hearth essence thrumming in his veins, pushing him towards the pool, towards her. Destined to be yours? I'm a free man. I go where I want, when I want. She took a step, then another, closing the distance between them. Her hands reached out, strong and decisive, grasping his shoulders. Her touch sent a jolt of energy through him, hot and sharp, making his muscles tense. Freedom? What is freedom, human, if not the ability to choose your dominant? To accept the claim of the one who recognizes your true power? She pulled him forward, her strength surprising. He resisted, pushing back, but her grip was like iron bands. Let go, Xylera. I'm not some prize to be won. No, she whispered, her face inches from his, her scent overwhelming, intoxicating. You are the challenge, and I will conquer you, not with force alone, but with the strength of this bond. She pulled him harder, stepping into the edge of the luminous pool, dragging him in after her. The liquid was warm, thick, almost viscous, and it hummed with an otherworldly energy that seeped into his skin, making every nerve ending sing. He gasped, not from cold, but from the sheer intensity of the sensation. What the fuck? The glow of the liquid intensified, swirling around their bodies. He could feel his own essence, charged by the hearth essence, resonating with the pool, with her. It was like every cell in his body was suddenly aware, hyper-aware. The whispers from the labyrinth were gone, replaced by a chorus of primal urges, a deafening thrum of instinct. Xylera pulled him closer, her body pressing against his, the bioluminescent tattoos on her skin glowing incandescently, mirroring the patterns on the walls. Her arms wrapped around his waist, drawing him into an embrace that was both confining and strangely comforting. Her voice, low and guttural now, seemed to vibrate through his very bones. The bond strengthens, human. Do you feel it? The truth of our connection. He felt it all right, the raw, undeniable heat radiating from her body. The way her muscles flexed against his, the soft hum from her throat, nodes that vibrated through him. He was losing control, not just of his body, but of his will. The hearth essence was pushing him, overriding his defiance, aligning him with her resonance. This is crazy, he gasped, his voice strained. His hands, which had been pushing against her, found themselves gripping her waist, pulling her impossibly closer. Her hips pressed against his, the alien contours strangely perfect against his own. Crazy or inevitable? Ah! Her eyes, burning emeralds, locked onto his. You resist, yet your body yearns. Your essence calls to mine. She shifted, a deliberate, sensual movement that ignited a wildfire in his loins. The liquid light swirled around them, bathing them in an intimate glow. My purpose, as a milkmaid, is to seek the strongest resonance, to cultivate power. And human, she whispered, her voice a low purr. You are bursting with it, and it is ours to share. Now, he felt a jolt, an electric current passing between them. His head swam, and for the first time, he felt something akin to surrender. A profound, instinctual submission to the raw, untamed power radiating from her. He was hers. The realization hit him like a physical blow, yet it wasn't fear he felt, but a strange, dizzying rush of anticipation. The pool's light intensified, surrounding them, enveloping them in a world of pure sensation. Xylara's breath hitched, her throat nodes humming a deep, resonant chord that echoed the pulsing orb. Her hands, firm and unyielding, cupped his face, tilting his head back. Her glowing tattoos pulsed violently, casting shifting patterns across his skin, illuminating the sudden dilation of his pupils. You are mine, she whispered, her voice rough, primal. Now, feel it. Her lips, full and dark, descended upon his, a possessive, hungry kiss that left no room for resistance. It was a clash of wills, a desperate, raw act of claiming and surrender. Her tongue, surprisingly soft, explored his mouth, tasting him, claiming him. He felt the hearth essence surge within him, igniting every nerve ending, making his body arc towards hers. He moaned into the kiss, a low, guttural sound he barely recognized as his own. His hands, still clenching her waist, tightened, pulling her against him with a ferocity that matched her own. The liquid light in the pool swirled faster, becoming a maelstrom of pulsing energy around them. He could feel her essence, raw and dominant, intertwining with his, not just physically, but on a deeper, resonant level. It was overwhelming, a tidal wave of sensation that threatened to consume him. Her touch was fire. Her lips were a brand. He was no longer just Kyle. He was a vessel for a powerful, ancient energy. She moved, pressing her hips harder against his, a deliberate, grinding motion that sent a shockwave of pleasure through him. His own body responded, involuntarily, powerfully. You are ready, she gasped, her voice thick with desire, the words vibrating against his mouth. More than ready. Surrender, human. Surrender to the bond. He felt himself giving way, his rational mind dissolving under the onslaught of pure, animalistic instinct. His hands roamed over her back, feeling the taut muscles beneath her smooth, warm skin, tracing the living patterns of her tattoos. Her skin felt electric against his, humming with an inner heat. She tore her mouth from his, breathing heavily, her eyes wide, glittering emeralds. The heart calls, she rasped, pulling him towards the luminous orb. Her hand grasped his, forcing it forward, until his fingers brushed against the crystalline surface of the heart. A shock, pure and untamed, shot through him, making his whole body seize. He saw flashes of light, felt a connection expand beyond his body, encompassing the entire chamber, the pulsating hum of the hearth beasts, the deep rhythm of the moon itself. He was connected. To Ryakor. To her. Xylara pressed herself against his back, her hips grinding against him again, her breath hot on his neck. Feel it, Kyle, the merging, the claiming, the truth of who you are, to me. Her hands slid down his body, her fingers dancing over his hardened flesh, then closed around him with a possessive grip that left no room for doubt. He gasped, his body arching, his mind spiraling. This was it, the total surrender, the primal drive that had been building since she first looked at him with those calculating, hungry eyes. He could feel her power, her dominance, and in that moment, he wanted nothing more than to be consumed by it. He didn't know if this was a mating ritual, a test, or a punishment, but every fiber of his being screamed for more. He cried out as she began to move, a slow, deliberate rhythm that deepened with each thrust. Her strength was incredible, her control absolute. She was the one dictating the pace, the depth, the intensity. He was hers to command, and she was commanding him completely. The glowing patterns on her skin, on his, pulsed in unison, a visual symphony to their desperate union. He felt the tension coil within him, tighter and tighter, pulling him to the brink. Her throaty moans mingled with his own ragged breaths, echoing in the chamber. He felt her shift, her body tensing, and then, a searing pain, a sharp, brief sting, a mark. He knew it instinctively. She was marking him, claiming him in a way that went beyond mere physical act. He cried out, not in pain, but in release, as the climax ripped through him, a wave of pure, unadulterated sensation that shattered his world. He felt her convulse against him, her own guttural cry echoing his, and the light from the pool flared, blindingly bright, before settling back into a softer glow. They stood there, intertwined, breathing heavily, the liquid light rippling around them. The hum of the heart of Ryakor seemed to resonate directly within his chest now, a new, powerful beat. Kyle felt weak, spent, but also profoundly changed. The world seemed sharper, more vibrant, the air thrumming with a new, deeper meaning. He felt a connection to Zylara that transcended words, a raw, undeniable bond woven into the fabric of his very being. He felt her relax against him, her weight a comforting pressure. "It is done," she whispered, her voice rough with emotion, her throat nodes still humming softly. She turned in his arms, her eyes, wide and almost vulnerable now, staring into his. The fierce, dominant warrior was still there, but softened, humbled by the raw intimacy they had just shared. "The bond is complete. You are marked. You are mine." He looked at her, truly looked at her, and saw not just the savage empress, but a fierce, proud being who had chosen him, claimed him, and offered him a connection he never knew he craved. The mark on his skin, though he hadn't seen it, felt like a burning proof of that choice. He raised a hand, tracing the delicate line of her jaw, the fierce pride in her eyes. "Yeah," he rasped, his voice still thick with emotion. "I guess I am. And you? You're mine too, aren't you, Milkmaid?" A flicker of surprise crossed her face, then a slow, possessive smile spread across her lips. "Mine? Perhaps. Human. Perhaps. Now we are. Entwined." A sudden, sharp thrum echoed through the chamber, different from the hearth beasts. It was a cold, piercing sound. Zylara tensed, her eyes narrowing. "The elders," she growled, her hand instinctively going to the hilt of his blaster on her hip. "They sense the completion. The bond has drawn them." The air grew heavy, crackling with an unseen energy. 3 figures emerged from the shadows at the edge of the chamber, cloaked and hooded, their forms obscured by the shifting light. They were taller, broader than Zylara, their very presence exuding an ancient, rigid authority. "Zylara," one of them boomed, his voice dry and rasping, "you have taken a mate, a low-born, star-spawned male. This is not the way of the Bloodstone clan. This is not the pairing befitting a milkmaid of your lineage." Exelara stepped forward, pulling Kale with her, refusing to break their physical connection. "Elder Theron, the heart of Ryakor chose him. His essence resonated with mine. He is worthy." Her voice was defiant, but Kale could feel a tremor of vulnerability beneath her confidence. He felt a sudden surge of protectiveness, a primal instinct he didn't even know he possessed. "Worthy?" sneered another elder, stepping forward, revealing a face deeply lined, ancient eyes burning with disdain. "He is a stranger, unblooded. He knows nothing of our rituals, our laws. You shame your line, Xylara. You shame the milkmaids." "He knows now," Kyle interjected, his voice surprisingly steady despite the threat. "He completed the trial. He felt the bond, and he took the mark, and he's mine." His words, crude and simple, cut through the elders' pronouncements, drawing their full attention. They stared at him, their ancient eyes filled with contempt. "A human speaks?" Theron rasped, a sound of utter disgust. "He presumes to understand the ways of Riakor? He presumes to claim a milkmaid of the Bloodstone clan?" Islara squeezed Kale's hand, a silent warning, but also a gesture of support. "He speaks with the truth of the bond, elders. His essence is now woven with mine. He has shown strength, endurance, and a spirit unbroken by your trials." She turned to Kale, her eyes holding a deep, fierce pride. "Show them the mark, my human. Show them your claim." Kale pulled away slightly, turning to face the elders fully. He felt a strange heat in his chest, then a prickling sensation on his abdomen. He looked down. Where Xylara had marked him during their climax, a faint, glowing tattoo pulsed into existence. It was a swirling, intricate pattern, mirroring Xylara's own. It was undeniably alien, unmistakably permanent. He met the elder's gazes, a defiant challenge in his own eyes. "You want to see the bond? You want to see the claim? Here it is." She put her mark on me, and I accepted it. And that means she's off limits for everyone else. A shocked silence fell over the chamber. The elders stared at the glowing mark on Cal's skin, their ancient faces a mix of disbelief and anger. "This is unprecedented," Elder Theron hissed, his voice trembling with fury. "A blood mark on a human? It is an abomination!" Xylara stepped forward, her voice ringing with newfound authority. "It is the will of the heart, Elder Theron. It is the will of Riakor itself. The bond is made. He is my mate, and I am his. We are entwined. To deny this bond is to deny the very essence of our world." She stood tall, radiating confidence, her bioluminescent tattoos flaring brightly. "And as my mate, he is now under my protection. Under the protection of the Bloodstone clan. To challenge him is to challenge me, to challenge our union." Kale felt a surge of pride, a fierce loyalty he hadn't known he was capable of. She was claiming him, publicly, defiantly. And he, the jaded bounty hunter, felt a profound rightness in it. He reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers. "She speaks the truth," Kale said, his voice raw, but firm. "I don't know your laws, your rituals, or your elders. But I know what just happened. And I know she's mine, and I'm hers. You want to argue with that? You can argue with me." The elders hesitated, their power visibly clashing with Xylara's raw, unyielding dominance, amplified by the fresh bond. They exchanged glances, a grudging acceptance in their eyes. The heart of Riakor pulsed with a deep, resonant hum, affirming Xylara's words. "The bond is forged," Elder Theron finally conceded, his voice laced with defeat. "Let it be known, Xylara, Milkmaid of the Bloodstone clan, has taken a human male as her mate. His mark is proof. Let the cycle continue." He turned and with his fellow elders retreated into the shadows, their presence fading. Kale let out a slow breath, the tension draining from him. He looked at Xylara, her body still humming with power, her eyes shining with triumph. "Well," he said, a small wry smile playing on his lips. "That was a hell of a first date." Xylara laughed, a full, rich sound that echoed in the chamber. She turned fully to him, her hands coming up to cup his face again, her thumb tracing the line of his jaw. "First date? Human. This was the beginning of our entwining, our true mating ritual." She leaned in, her lips brushing against his ear, her voice a low, throaty purr. "And I suspect, my marked one, that you will soon be begging for more of these dates. Much, much more." He shivered, a delicious thrill running through him. She was right. He looked into her emerald eyes, the raw desire mirroring his own, and knew, with absolute certainty, that he already was. His lonely days were over, his true adventure had just begun.